Welcome to Strange But True. Take a breath, slow down, and listen carefully. Some stories are documented, some are debated, some refuse to be explained. We tell you the stories. You decide what's true. Now, let's begin our journey. Time feels natural. It feels like something that exists on its own, moving forward whether we pay attention to it or not. A steady force that everything else must follow. But nothing in the physical world actually recognizes the way we divide it. Objects do not know what day it is. Light does not behave differently on a Monday than it does on a Thursday. The planet does not pause at midnight or reset at the start of a new year. And yet, nearly every human decision is shaped by time structures that exist only because we agree they do. The week has 7 days. The workday begins at a specific hour. Certain hours are labeled productive. Others are labeled wasted. A deadline can be missed, even when nothing tangible has changed. These rules feel permanent because they arrive before we ever question them. Most people cannot remember learning them. They cannot remember agreeing to them. They simply grow up inside them. Clocks do not measure time. They divide it into approved segments. Calendars do not describe reality. They assign permission. They decide when something may begin, when it must end, and when it is no longer allowed to exist. A meeting scheduled for Tuesday at 9 in the morning has no physical weight. Nothing in nature recognizes it. No object reacts to it, but miss it, and consequences appear immediately. Emails arrive. Explanations are required. Apologies are offered. Not because time was damaged, not because anything real was lost, but because the system was violated. Artificial time is one of the few control structures that does not need visible authority. There are no guards enforcing the hour, no officials policing the calendar, no physical force demanding belief. No one forces us to accept the meaning of late. No one physically enforces the importance of an hour. We comply because everyone else does. Schedules determine when we wake, when we eat, when we work, and when we feel allowed to stop. Entire lives are arranged around blocks of time that cannot be touched, seen, or altered. Even moments that once felt natural now require permission. Meals have times, sleep has windows, rest has limits. Vacations are counted before they are taken. Moments are shortened by knowing when they must end. Time stops being something we experience. It becomes something we manage. People begin to speak about time the way they speak about money. They spend it, they save it, they waste it, they borrow it from the future. But unlike money, time never actually leaves. Only the permission to use it does. At its deepest level, artificial time changes how moments feel. Unscheduled silence becomes uncomfortable. Unplanned pauses feel inefficient. Moments without purpose feel wrong. Even doing nothing must be justified. The system no longer needs clocks or calendars to function. It lives inside expectation. And the most effective part of the system is how invisible it feels. People do not experience artificial time as control. They experience it as responsibility. Missing a deadline feels like a personal failure. Ignoring a schedule feels wrong even when nothing is lost. Even rest must now be scheduled. Even sleep is tracked, measured, and evaluated. Free time becomes something to manage, something that can be wasted, something that can be used incorrectly. The system does not need to punish most people. They punish themselves. Artificial time does not just organize behavior. It reshapes identity. Being on time becomes a moral quality. Being busy becomes proof of worth. Being unavailable becomes suspicious. Running out of time becomes a source of anxiety, even though nothing physical is disappearing. The clock keeps moving, not because it must, but because we expect it to. And as long as everyone agrees, the system never has to explain itself. It never needs justification. It never needs permission. It simply continues. Artificial time also changes how people remember their lives. Memories stop being recalled by feeling and start being recalled by schedule. People remember years as workloads, months as obligations, days as tasks completed or left unfinished. Moments blur together not because they were empty, but because they were assigned. Life becomes something that happens between deadlines, and when people look back, they don't remember where time went. They only remember that it was gone. History has a way of hiding the truth inside what it chooses not to explain. Inside tales, inside myths, inside legends, inside things that feel just a little off. If this story held your attention, subscribe to Strange But True, because sometimes what sounds unbelievable is exactly where the truth hides.